It was the rural areas that needed the most focus right off the bat. You know, how are we going to engage these people? What are some of the unique ways to have education delivered to them or get them involved in education? Bringing them out from their place and plugging them into a large center isn't always the best thing to do, nor is it the easiest thing to do.
You want to build a specialized palliative care consultation team. If you want to build that, your number one, baseline training should be a rural weekend course.
Those weekends have been very successful, I think, in reconfirming a passion or compassion within people for palliative care. They've really sparked the interest and enthusiasm that's needed to continue that learning and affecting change of practice in their local communities.
People don't know each other and they don't know who are the keys in the region sometimes, and I guess it's that isolation. I'm surprised at how bringing things together and having this regional weekend course just opens up so many more doors.
I know from people who've attended that it's made a change in how they've looked at palliative care.
Bringing all those disciplines together into a room, it's amazing how much people learned from each other and how much appreciation there was for different viewpoints. And people were tolerant of each other. And people challenged each other, but there was respect in the room.
The nurses maybe are seeing physicians that they thought were just grumpy physicians or whatever. You know, they don't think they're interested in palliative care. And then when they start seeing them in the course and they start seeing the questions they're asking, they're like, wow, you know, this person knows something. I'm going to call them up, and they're really interested. And where maybe the physician is just really busy in his multiple, patient practice, and palliative care might slip to the side.
Physicians at one time would be able to say, well, that's not, I don't need to worry about that. That's somebody else's problem. Or my job is to cure. My job is not to care about the patient. And yet, when something's happening in your own backyard and everybody else is buying on, it becomes very difficult for you to become ignorant or to pass it off as something different. And I think that Pallium has brought that focus up.
Who can deny that dignity-conserving work is bad? You know, like it just kind of levels the ground for us all, I think, and gives people a sense that this is kind of hallowed ground we're walking on here, that it's a bit of a philosophical shift, and that may not seem big to some people, but for some of our staff, that's been a huge thing.
They all are talking or speaking the same language now, and that's an incredible gift that we've been given.
The caregivers that have attended those, whether they be the physicians, the nurses, the pharmacists, have recognized perhaps what they didn't know, or even more importantly, what their colleagues don't know. And they have gained knowledge that they can put into practice for themselves, but also share with others.
The nurses rurally function much better now on their own. We get way less phone calls than we used to get. The phone calls we're getting now are certainly more complex.
I think that most people are very pleased to have that group of people together, to see the skills that everyone can bring in.
And the weekend course, through vignettes and through case studies, gave them the advantage of going in and saying, if you look at bereavement issues, for example, here's what we can do to help you. Here's what we know. Here's what we can proceed with. And they were more comfortable with their own responses because they'd been through the weekend course.
The one outcome that we really never thought about until we did reflection following the event was the team building that occurred during the weekend.
We're teaching them the value of the work and we're also teaching them the value of teamwork.
So I think I've heard a lot of that type of comment that, wow, you know, it's really nice to work with somebody who's been to the course and who has now the same knowledge that I do, and we can work on that together and see where we need to build, you know, build the future for palliative care in their area.
Enthusiasm that people have after they've taken the course is remarkable. To me, that's one of the unintended outcomes.
Every region or health authority will get out of it what they want to get out of it, but the opportunities are great, because if you take a champion that comes to that course and thinks, you know, I can do this, I can spread this out and to the greater population of healthcare workers, then they will, and I think they'll do really well with it, because that's how the course is set up.
Rurally, we really, really need education. We need people who are willing to come to us, because we aren't offered a lot of dollars. So if you're expected to go out and enhance other people, you need to be able to access things like Pallium, and it's wonderful that they've come to us.
Pallium has helped to bridge town and gown. It has also helped to bridge the people who are in search of learning experiences and those who are able to facilitate those experiences.
I see that it's being kind of that spark, or the seeds that are being planted across the regions and are there now to germinate and grow.